As instructed, Jake Conley made his way to the northern portico entrance of the Ministry of Defence building at Whitehall. A monument to tiredness, an eminent architect had called it, and as he looked over the two statues of earth and water flanking the doorway, familiarly known as the two fat ladies to employees, Jake would have emphasized with the weariness if his overriding emotion hadn't been trepidation. He had been dreading the call from the head of Secret Services, AA, since beginning his 6-month sabbatical 4 months ago. A reluctant recruit to the organization, Jake had come close to premature death on several occasions whilst helping to dismantle Woden's Brethren, the white supremacist movement in Yorkshire. The return to his staid life as development manager of a theme park in Warwickshire was what he craved, but even this was not allowed to him until his year's leave absence had been completed. He had filled his time pursuing his long-term interests in isolated country churches, Old English literature, and the Anglo-Saxon period in general. When not thus occupied, he had taken Miss Harrop, the attractive receptionist in this defence building, out to dinner twice and once to the theatre to see a musical in the West End. He smiled at the thought, since their relationship was growing more intimate and, therefore, from his point of view, more promising. He had discovered unexpected depths to the pretty Alice. Depths because she adored subaquatic exploration of the seabed, and whether in tropical climes or the nearby Atlantic was a matter of indifference to her. He teased her by calling her his little frog person, but secretly admired her fortitude and bravery. He listened fascinated and with patience to her explanation of how to obtain one's subslicense, and her experiences of archaeological finds off the Isles of Scilly, where an entire English fleet had foundered in severe weather in 1707 with the loss of 2,000 lives. After the ending of his relationship with Leafy Wyther, he hadn't imagined anyone else being able to pull at his heartstrings, but Alice was succeeding. He took a deep breath and entered the austere ambience of the ministry. The way he felt at that moment, it would take more than Alice's grace and charm to restore his good humour. She met his gaze with her usual self-contained professionalism. "Good morning, Mr. Conley. To what do we owe this honour?" He leant over the reception desk in an over-familiar manner, careless of the eyes of the muscular security man boring into his back. "I was hoping you'd tell me that, Alice," he hissed rather than whispered. "The big chief's called me in. Do you have any idea why?" "Oh, sure, as if he shares all of his innermost thoughts with me." He recoiled at her sarcastic reply and adopted a seemlier, more upright pose, since not sprawling over her personal space might restore him to her good graces. "Not even an inkling, Alice?" He tried what he supposed was a winning smile, but she dismissed it as wheedling. "You better go on up." She indicated the lift, "if you want to be punctual." He glanced at his watch. She had a point, as the minute hand was vertical. "I'll catch you afterwards, if I survive the meeting, if he doesn't induce a heart attack." She grinned at him and nodded, made sure nobody was observing her before putting 2 fingers to her lips and blowing him a kiss. The lift whisked him up 2 floors, and he forced his reluctant feet to approach the door of AA's office. He formulated ways of telling the awesome super spy that he wanted no part in whatever it was he had excogitated for him. In spite of his negative thoughts and racing heart, he knocked and entered the room. "Ah, my dear fellow." The predatory smile in the familiar pinched face hardly quelled his nerves. "How's life treating you? Is your sabbatical all that you would desire?" "I'm enjoying the peaceful nature of it, thank you, sir." "Good, good. Not bored, then? An active chappie like yourself?" Jake didn't trust or like this forced bonhomie. "I'd better be careful how I answer this," he thought. "It's good to catch up on a few of me interests." "Yes, I'm sure." The genial tone had changed to one of brisk efficiency, more suited to the hard, pale grey eyes that had not wavered in their coldness. "It's the very reason for my calling you. I have something right up your street, old boy.